What is your favourite video game of all time? My favourite video game of all time is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. What is your video making process for your model reviews? I plan the videos out by writing my thoughts on the model, or models for review first. I then edit this heavily into a script, a bit like I'm reading from now, and I record the script using my microphone setup. I then shoot as much footage as possible within a set time frame for editing. All of the tests are real, as are the results, but the footage showing the test is separate to the actual tests you see in the video. So it's a bit like Top Gear. We will actually do the test and then we'll film footage to kind of compile into a film of the test, if you get my drift. So in short, all of the film footage is made for YouTube, and very rarely does it show the actual test. Are you going to make more model railway reviews? Yes, I am going to make more model railway reviews. Several are planned, but my day job takes up a lot of my time. I tend to travel a lot, and it means I have many projects on the go at the minute, and they're in a perpetual state of editing. So many projects on the go. Quite a lot of fans will enjoy some of the model railway reviews coming up, that's for certain. What are your favourite internet shows and why? Well, I have three specific favourite channels. Leokin Video, Leo Henry, his excellent toy reviews. Happy Tree Friends, which is Mondo Media, and pretty much everything by Smoosh. Smosh? Smoosh? Smoosh? Smosh. Okay. Smosh. Apparently it's Smosh. Smoosh? Does it have double O? No? Smosh. Fair enough. What is your favourite locomotive class? My favourite locomotive class is the Peppercorn A1 Pacific, but in recent years I found myself drawn to the Thompson Pacifics more and more, and I think they're severely undervalued and underestimated in railway history. This has pretty much culminated in me buying a 3.5-inch gauge live steam Highland Lassie, which is a version of the Thompson Pacific. What is your favourite colour? Apple green. Always has been, always will be. Preferably a Doncaster shade. What is your favourite film of all time? Favourite film of all time? Casablanca. Look it up. Casablanca. It is the perfect film. The script, the cinematography, it's just wonderful. Like, for example, I'm shocked. There is gambling going on in this establishment. You're winning, sir. Oh, thank you. You cannot perfect upon perfection. Who is your favourite Thomas and Friends character? Edward. How far have you thought ahead for the British Railway stories in terms of locations and characters of the other three companies of the big four railway companies? There's approximately 75 storylines I could use. They've all been written as books primarily, but they're all there in their raw format, which I can use for future ebooks and more YouTube episodes. The vast majority of them are based at Copley Hill, 56C, but there are enough stories for a mini-series on the Great Western region and probably the southern region of British Railways. What was the main inspiration for the British Railway stories? well, the look of the stories was definitely influenced by tugs. David Mitton's work on tugs is just phenomenal. The sheer atmosphere, the smoke effects, the depth of field into the distance that you can't fathom how big Big City was. Tugs was just amazing, far outstripping any children's show in terms of just visual imagery and images and just watch Tugs. Watch Tugs. In fact, watch High Tide. Watch Tugs High Tide. That's the best of the lot by some way. It is well, or Munitions actually. Munitions. Watch Tugs Munitions. It's brilliant. But the actual themes in my episodes are kind of my take on British Railways, the 1950s, 1960s. Because British Railways, don't forget, was an ever-evolving kind of entity. So by 1948, you've got the big four railway companies are now one big company. You've got a lot of people who now have to come together to kind of work towards a common goal, which is carrying passengers and freight across a vast railway network, which apparently was unsustainable. We know different from that which was happening in the 1950s and 60s, but I wanted it to be more about the way of life that was disappearing, and this is where I tried desperately to make the characters almost human in their outlook and how they reacted to situations. So no, the themes are mine, and it's based very strictly on British Railways history and the human condition, I suppose you could say, in some respects. It's been pointed out to me in a few videos, but no, the major influence for the actual series is definitely Tugs, without doubt. What camera and video and photo editing software has been used for the British Railway stories throughout the years? Well, I started out with a basic kind of first generation Casio digital camera, and that was from episode 7 onwards. Prior to episode 7, all film had been recorded using somewhat older but very good quality camcorder equipment. I think it was Sharp, and we played it off cassettes to record onto disc. From episode 11 onwards, I've used the camera that I use today, which is right here. Hello. Which is a Casio XLIM Z66. And the reason I use this kind of small camera is because it's got 10.1 megapixels, which today is not very good, but 5 years ago it was. And the idea is it actually gets down very, very close to the level of the model, so you actually get very good close-ups. It's very sharp images, and it just helps to bring a kind of more realistic, kind of lifelike feeling to the models, because we know them. They're only about that big in real life, but you hope to make them look bigger on screen. So getting close down and kind of almost at eye level, like you're standing next to them, that was what was needed, and this is what this camera allows me to do. It's a fantastic camera. Probably won't get rid of it for a good few years now. It's a lovely camera. Yeah, Casio. It's just cheap £70 Casio camera. You know, as long as you have a clear vision of what you want to film, you could use anything, any quality, and create something with a good script that works, that doesn't necessarily have the film quality to it. But as you know, I want to make it look more professional, so obviously we're going to branch out and buy better camera equipment, that's for certain. How did your family and friends find out about the videos, and what was their reaction when the book was announced and released? My family and friends have known about this for years, and they've been very, very supportive since I started developing the idea way back in 2006. So the first episode appeared in 2007, that was August 17th, 2007, I think. And they've been very, very supportive ever since. In fact, my family, my close family, well, we talk all of the episodes out. We actually go through the storylines and we talk it out, and well, why would it go this way, or why wouldn't it go that way, and why does he feel like that, or she feels like that right now at this point in the episode. So we talk it out. They read through all of the stories. They're just really good. It's gratifying to have such creative support from your close family, that's for certain. When and how did you find Dean Walker and come to an agreement with him? Well, actually, it's quite funny because I actually spotted Dean had created a really beautiful fan art of the character Nigel with a couple of the other engines on shed, and I think it's Stephen and Herbert and Alan and Sir Ralph, and they're all crossed back, but it's Nigel steaming towards the screen. And oh, hang on, it's over there. It's up on my wall. You can't see it from here, but what I'll do is I'll edit it in so that you can see the picture. And it is an astounding piece of artwork, and we just got chatting, and at this point I was not really sure where I was going with the book. Was I self-publishing? Was I publishing? Because it was a very difficult time for me because I had a publisher, and they had gone bust, and then the next publisher that came along kind of messed me around a bit, didn't know whether he was coming and going, and so I said to Dean, we'll sort out some sort of deal, I'll make it above the industry rate, and I did by some way. It's 35% above the industry rate per book in terms of payment, and we've got on like a house on fire ever since. He's a fantastic guy, a really talented artist, and a damn good friend. Are you going to make the British Railway stories downloadable from iTunes? If the demand is there for the original episodes, and I don't think there is yet, but you never know, I don't see why I can't make them available on iTunes, but they need a lot of editing. The whole audio content of these episodes is horrendous. Episodes 1 up until about 8 are just terrible in terms of the sound effects, and I would re-record all of the narration. It's more likely that I would include them as they are on a DVD of the new incarnation, the YouTube series, that I'm currently developing. If you make a DVD, will there be extras like footage we haven't seen, director's commentaries, etc.? Oh, without a doubt. I love the sound of my own voice, and I love putting in as much detail as possible, so yes, definitely. We would definitely have director's commentary and extra footage and similar. Is there anything you can tell us about the new series, and if there will be differences from the old one, and when will it be released? I can say that the new series is now unlikely to be full CGI, and that I will be returning to using models, but in a new and possibly unique format. I've spent a lot of time experimenting, and I think the look I'm now going for is really going to work. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to bring it to YouTube, but I'm very dedicated to it, and I think you will really, really like it. I'm not, however, setting a timescale, so maybe late 2012 for test footage. I think mid-2013 if we're going to see a film. The first film is very likely to be Tale of the Unnamed Engine. What methods do you use for writing stories? Well, firstly, I research using magazines, books, the internet for various forums, websites, videos on YouTube are very useful of 1950s and 60s, and there's quite a lot out there. You just have to delve through the search engine and find them. At the moment, I have this particular little leather notebook, and you literally just write down ideas. Literally just keep writing down ideas. Go from the back, even. This is the last in kind of a long line of leather notebooks where I just write down things. I basically, if I come up with an idea during the day, I literally just pull that out and I write the idea down, then I can come back to it later and reassess. I tend to get all my best writing moments though at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Literally about 3 AM. The brain starts working at about 10. It just keeps going. It's problem solving. It's thinking. And I'm sleeping, which is why I don't get much sleep, I guess. And so I normally wake up and I write solidly for an hour, and then I go back to sleep. And I edit, and literally edit everything constantly. I'm never satisfied with anything I write. Never. I'm never satisfied with anything I write. It always can be improved somehow. But there are occasions where I go back to the original draft and I look at what I originally wrote, and then all of the 20 or so different edits that I've now done, and the original draft is just the best. It just works out that way sometimes. That's just how writing works, you know. And you just have to keep writing. Just write. You get the impulsion to write something. You have an idea, get it down on paper. Just write it out, and then come back to it later and reassess. You know, it has to be a passion, and it also has to be a bit of an obsession. Otherwise, you just never, you don't write enough, so you lose practice and you lose ideas. For example, I'm working on book 2 at the moment. In book 2, we've kind of, in my head, I've got the idea, and Dean's done a few bits of artwork for the book, which one of which is a character profile picture, which you'll have seen at the end of the recent eBook advert. But it takes a very long time to actually kind of get that sort of thing together and make it perfect, and hopefully we can do that again for a 2013 release of books 2 and 3. What have you done with the engine's faces? They're packed away for safekeeping, so that we can bring them out at a future date, maybe for an exhibition or something, if there's actually any interest. We'll see. You know, they're safe. They're safe. That's the name. What does the original British Railway Stories team think of the stories now? Now, it's funny you should say this, because I actually spoke to a few of my colleagues a while ago, and they're really happy with the way I've taken it on and how it's being developed. One has commented actually that she always thought I'd take it on and make something of it, and she was really pleased to see the book out. And you know, I've got to pay credit to all of them actually. You know, even with some of the differences we came out with, because if we hadn't done that initial project, we would never have. We wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking about my ebook I've released, or the 18 episodes I've made. And the new website that's coming out, and there's so many other things, and you know, got to pay tribute to them. There, they were great guys when we were making it. When did you decide to turn the British Railway Stories into a book series? Long before it became a YouTube series. I've been trying to get Tale of the Unnamed Engine published since about, well, long before 2007, probably 2006, late 2006 I think. And the book has actually turned out so much closer to the original draft I had. It's scary actually, how much editing has gone on, and how much I've kind of gone back in a complete circle. The big additions obviously are the history sections and the character profiles and locations, and a few other bits and bobs that really make it come alive as history, and the picture captions, which I just felt really kind of help take people along and cement the history and the vision of these trains moving from King's Cross to Leeds and back again, and Leeds to King's Cross and back again. That's a mistake I make all the time. There's so many stories just floating around here, and you remember different ones. But no, it's been quite a while. I've been trying to turn it into a series of books, and now it is a book, and I am I'm over the moon, absolutely over the moon with it. Will there be weather and seasonal effects in future videos? Yes, there will be weather and future effects in seasonal videos. In seasonal videos? There will be weather and seasonal effects in future videos. There will be weather effects and seasonal effects in future videos. Yes, it's something I want to do, and we'll do it. Will the animation of the new series be realistic? The idea is that the new series will match the look of the book. It will match it much more closely from this point on. Does the first book need to sell enough copies by the beginning of 2013 or by the same release date of the first book in order to publish the next one? Right, I think what you're asking me is how many books do we need to sell in order to make the next one? So currently we've sold just under 250 copies at the time of writing, and ideally by this time next year we'd have sold 3,000 copies, which I know is a big ask, but that would allow us to pay for the development of books 2 and 3 quite easily, and also help me and Dean actually live, because although we've got day jobs and we work really hard at our day jobs, I don't think it's unfair to say that we'd love to do this for a living, writing children's books that actually put the history and entertaining with history first and foremost, and actually doing some good. You know, there's so many ideas we're throwing around that we can do. The best one actually, I can say happily, by the way, that Dean and I are likely to reach agreement on the contracts for books 2 and 3 to be developed over the course of this next year, to be released in the summer and Christmas periods of 2013. If the book doesn't sell enough copies for a new one to be published for next year, does that mean no more BRWS books, or just no books until it sells enough copies? It doesn't mean there won't be more books. It does mean it will take longer to develop each next book, as Dean and I have to earn a living. And the book sales are not enough yet by far, so we can give up our day jobs and do this instead for a living. I mean, you know, the thought that keeps flying round, I suspect, in many authors' heads is, why didn't I write something like 50 Shades of Grey? That idea does not flow round my head. I don't care how many sales they've made, 1 million, 10 million, 1 billion, trillion sales. I don't care how much money she's made from those books. I am glad of what I'm doing here. I am happy to be writing children's books. I'm glad that I am actually writing something which is, how can I put it, we want it to be high quality, and we're trying desperately to make it high quality. We only want to give you high quality children's books, and if some other author is very happy to write pornographic novels for a living and make millions, good luck to them. I'm not interested in that at all. Not at all. Are you going to release audio the British Railway Stories books? I am looking at this as a line of merchandise. I'm thinking about it very seriously, and I think I know what the next question is. Will the CGI series feature only new stories? No, many of the original storylines will come back. There's a few I am definitely cutting, but I'm going to try and fill in all of the plot holes, and the graphics will really help bring the stories to life more. One set of storylines that's absolutely guaranteed to reappear are episode 8, 9 and 10, which was the Legacy of Gadwall trio of episodes, which I can't not do. I love that storyline. There's a few bits and bobs that I would change for the new YouTube series, but definitely they'd come back. There's quite a few episodes that will come back. What are the main priorities for the British Railway Stories? Our main priority is, well, okay, let's think about this. Real locations, real engines, real history. I want to bring railway history to the 7011 group. I want to make it very accessible and enjoyable for them, first and foremost. It has to be enjoyable and it has to be education. They have to be able to read from it, you know. Our next priority, one I've been talking to and I'm really passionate about. I've been talking to Dean a lot about this, and this is something I really want to do. Our next priority is we want to give something back to the preserved railways of this country, which have sought to preserve for future generations all of these icons of the railway age. And I hope to announce soon a really I'm so excited about this. It's such an exciting development. It's the introduction of the first official preserved railway locomotive to appear as a character in the British Railway Stories, the very first one. I'm so psyched for this one. I think we can do a lot of good. The basic idea behind it is it would appear as a character in my book that I'm writing, and Dean would illustrate, and this would be a new ebook first and then a print second. And the idea is for every book sold, we would give £1 back to the running costs annually of the locomotive owners that the character is based on. And I think that is a wonderful way we can monetarily and we can support preserved railways monetarily and advertise and really get people actually seeing the more obscure parts of railway history. There are so many wonderful bits of Britain's railway history that are just overlooked in favour of the big four, the express pattern locomotives. And look, I am totally guilty of that. I mean, we've got a peppercorn A1 and an A4 Pacific and a streamline combination class, and that I'm guilty of that as well. But I want to do more, and I'm really stoked for the possibilities with this particular book. So this ebook would probably form book 3, and we'll have more details as soon as all the contracts and agreements are thrashed out and signed later in the year. But I'm really looking forward to actually making a difference, which is what which is just great. That it's the best feeling in the world, knowing you can actually make a difference with something you love doing, which is writing children's books. If you had to thank one person who helped you with the British Railway Stories more than any other, who would it be and why? If there was only one person I could thank, trust me on this, there's so many people to thank for where we are today. There's so many. It took me about 2,000 words to actually attempt to thank everyone on my blog recently, and then there's also the page in the back of Taylor the Unnamed Engine, which is the special thanks page, which thanks a lot of people and a lot of groups. And there's so many people I didn't thank in the ebook because I was told to cut down the thanks page because it was too long, because it ran to nearly 5 pages. So I then put all of them on the on my blog instead. But if I had to pick one person I could thank, only one person. It would be my late grandfather, and unfortunately he wasn't alive to see the original idea germinate and develop into what it is today. But his name lives on in the stories we tell, and that's of a young boy in a museum who meets a talking train, and a talking train who tells tales of the steam and industrial age to a young boy named Stanley.